I could say 6 games to go, playoffs a mathematical prospect still, but you'll probably roll your eyes at me. So how would you sell this game to the fans?
Well, I mean, we've got to win every game, haven't we? If that's the case, that's the case. So we'll just keep going and trying. I mean, we're coming up against, last week was the form team, and this week it's the form team. They're hard games, but I think they're good tests for us, these, to show us what's the weakness and where we need to improve, really. I think it's all part and parcel. Next season we've got to be up and coming ready for all aspects, and they're all different types of football that we're playing against at the minute, and it's interesting to see how we cope.
Are you still finding stuff out then about your players, even at this late stage of the season?
Yeah, not an awful lot. I mean, crikey, I see them in training as well every day. But I have sort of in the last sort of 7-10 days found out one or two things in my own mind that I probably wasn't aware of, if I'm honest. Yeah.
The decisions are being made then.
With a couple of lads, it was it's interesting how things up and down.
Has Barnsley surprised you? I mean, they have, the second half of the season they've been astonishing, haven't they?
Well, they've surprised everybody, but I love it, mate. There's no divine right. I mean, the way they rush up after they kick the ball, it goes back to when I first started. Graham Carr was at Northampton, and for 2 years nobody could even work out what to do with them. But in them days, the offside rule was different. Anybody offside was offside. So, they used to sprint up to the halfway line, and as soon as you played a ball back, one lazy person who was offside. Whereas now, it's got to be the phase, and I don't think teams have actually clocked onto that. They work really hard. They've got some good players. They've got probably the best striker in the division, I think, Dyke. I think he's, they said they've got a 17 million buyout. So, I would imagine if they go up, they'll be buying him because he's been unbelievable. When I look at his clips, he scores goals, big, strong, young. He's got every attribute, really. So, Woodrow's a decent player as well. They've got some good players, and it's a great club. I'm ever so pleased, me. I hope they go up, mate.
When you mentioned Daryl Dike, I mean, we know obviously your admiration for Kiefer Moore from last summer, but when you look at Daryl Dike, do you almost see the prototype of what you would like to have in your team?
Oh, my God, I'd have him tomorrow. I don't think Steve will mortgage Riverside for that. Really, I think, like you say, he's got a £17 million buyout, but he's got all the attributes. And, good luck to them. They had a link. I think the owners had a link with the club in America, which got him first choice. And he's come over and, he's been a revelation. I don't think I've seen anybody quite like him, as an impact straight away into a league like the Championship. He's been unbelievable, and I think they've just responded on his strength, really. All the other players, and it's good squad, athletics, really put it in, and we've got to match that athleticism and to have any chance, really.
It's a really young squad, isn't it? I think possibly only 3 players of 26 and over. I mean, that obviously has an impact, or it helps the style that Valerian Ishmael wants to play, doesn't it?
Well, it does. I mean, you've only got to look at his substitutions. The front 3 usually get took off after an hour because they've run out. They've run the socks off, and the other 3 coming on do exactly the same for half an hour. That's how they've got success, really, with fresh legs and that. And I think I think good luck to him. He's looked at the Championship and decided that he's got this type of squad. And they'll run through a brick wall for him. That's what a manager wants.
Are they almost a unique challenge then this season?
Well, no, I don't think anybody else plays like them. But I think that's what the Championship throws up: different styles, and there's no divine right. And it's not a bad habit to just win games, which they've got. And it's a pity the crowd aren't in, because Barnsley's crowd, with a team like that winning games like they are, it would be unbelievable. I played that. Probably my best season as a player was at Barnsley, so it was they're nice people down there.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to mention your playing career there. Does the fact they are doing it without a crowd actually make it more impressive?
Probably, although it might be the other way. A crowd might not like the style as much. But I think when you're winning games, I think crowds will accept anything, really.
They have been on a great run, as you mentioned. It's one defeat in 15, but they actually haven't won any of the last three at home. Is there a possible nervousness that you might be able to play on there? Because here they are in the playoffs as a surprise, but now everybody almost expects them to stay there, don't they? So at what point do they start to get nervous?
I don't think it matters home or away, really, in the Championship. All right, a little bit, but not an awful lot. And I think Barnsley just play with the freedom home, and probably more so away from home, whether it's psychological or not, but they go away from home, they're not bothered about reputations or anything. That's why I love it. I love to see a club like Barnsley doing well, me.
Do you see any similarities with the work you did at Cardiff, and that you arrived at a club who were really a threat of relegation, turned around really quickly to be pushing and actually going up? Do you see similarities with what's happened with the Tigers?
Well, I think if they don't go up, I think it'll be interesting to see how they do next season. That's how I look at it, really. Can they do the same next season with crowds in and against opponents that have already seen them once? I think at the moment it's not a novelty, but it's like an unusual system that they play, and I don't think anybody's really got to grips with it, really. So, there's one or two clubs like that have played a certain style, and then, teams look at it and try and find work something out. So I think it'll be more difficult next year to put the kind of run together that they're doing now in the Championship, and that's why I hope they go up this year, while they've got everybody on the back foot.
Have you worked them out? It sounds like you've got something in mind, something a little different to deal with them.
Well, we've only got the players that we've got, so I probably would have done something different if I got a full squad of players, But we've just got to pick the best side we can and try and cause a threat to them when we can.
And just on that front, obviously Marcus Tavernier, you're missing his creativity. We briefly mentioned Hayden Coulson after the match against Watford, but is he somebody who could come in and provide a little bit of that? I mean, again, I know you said you don't think he'd ever played in midfield before, but are you looking at that sort of situation now?
Yeah, I think before the end of the season he'll get another opportunity in that particular role, because he's really lively in training. I don't think there's anybody better than him. It's just he hasn't really grasped the positions he's supposed to play. I think I've had better options this season, so he's had to look around, and I think he enjoyed it when he come on. Really, that freedom up there, and I think I'd like to see him in that role before the end of the season.
Just the last one from me on Sam Morsey. Obviously, you said he'll miss the rest of the season, but have you got a more sort of definitive timescale on how long he might take to recover yet?
Not really. No, I think a couple of months. 6 or 8 weeks, something like that. There's one or two lads. We keep picking up injuries and losing players, and I'm afraid there's nothing you can do. I think the pandemic has thrown things around a little bit, so it is disappointing, but I just got to accept it at the minute.
Hi Neil, you okay?
Yes, mate.
I hear what you've been saying. How would you sort of sum up? Have you kind of got one foot in the thinking about and planning for next season camp, and one foot in the still don't let it go and win every game camp at the minute?
No, not really. I've got 1 3/4 feet in next season, really, and a quarter of a big toenail in this season.
So
it's not going to stop us trying to win games. We've got to try and win every game. So it's not going to stop us trying to win games. I just think that the number of games we've got left and the points difference and the quality of the teams at the top, I don't think we have much chance of getting in this season.
It's Barnsley. We've spoken about Barnsley a bit, but Barnsley are one of the teams that you probably wouldn't have expected at this stage to be quite as far ahead of you as they are. They have been a remarkable story.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why you've got to take your hat off to them. They've got a system and it's worked, and it's took people by surprise, really. Everybody keeps thinking they're going to blow up, and they keep getting stronger. So good luck to them. Like I said, I'd love to see them go up, me.
And last one from me, you talked about 1 3/4 feet and thinking about next season. Do the players get that? Do the players understand that now this opportunity they've got between now and the end of the season, quite a lot of them might be playing for their futures under you?
I haven't got a clue, if I'm honest. The players that there's players out of contract, players who I'm looking at. They all know what's happening in the next 6 games. They all know I'm here next year, so they know I'll be making decisions and so they've got 6 games to sort of push their case, really, and vice versa, and that's all I can do.
Sorry about that, Neil.
Yeah,
Neil,
okay.
Without labouring the point about what's left in this season, 70 points was enough to make the playoffs last year. So Middlesbrough obviously can make 75 if you win the remaining games. So do you look at it in that way at all?
Not really. I don't think we've been capable of winning 6 games on the trot with the squad. We don't score enough goals. We make too many mistakes. So it's not a recipe to win 6 games on the trot in the Championship.